Well, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hi, good morning. It is Thursday, August 21st, and this morning we're going to be checking in for any developments on the City Council vote on terms for a possible new arena. Also, we're going to be talking to Erica Hernandez. She's going to join us to give us the latest of what's going on in the courtroom.
Busy Thursday, and we know the list of performers won't be announced for another hour for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo in 2026. But in just a little bit, we'll have a look back at who performed in the past and who we might like to see in the coming year. So a lot to get to here over the next 60 minutes.
Hard to picture February weather right now.
Well, chances are it'll be colder than it is right now,
Yes,
nonetheless.
yes.
But you know what? I mean, relatively speaking, late August, if you will, not too bad. And there are rain chances in play once again for today, Justin.
Yes, indeed. As we look outside, there's nothing going on in San Antonio. In fact, it is very quiet right now. But let's get right to authority radar because we do have activity out there and some that is notable. Nothing severe. We've had light rain out around Del Rio and Rock Springs this morning. Heaviest of the rain right now is in northern Real County, where we have some storms that aren't moving all that fast. And we've got some lightning strikes for this too. And then also of note, we have a flood warning for parts of the Guadalupe River, the West Fork there, the fork of the Guadalupe River that runs through Hunt and Ingram. And that's because we've got some storms that are flaring up nearby. Now, they're not over Hunt and Ingram, but they're near enough to where some of that water, in theory, could feed down into the river. So we want to watch that. They did issue a flood warning for that region. Obviously, there's still a lot of cleanup going on, so I think this is a precautionary thing. But please, let's keep that in mind. And then as we look further to the north, there is some activity up there. Most of that is light, but it does tell us there's some energy to our north that'll be shifting south today. And that should help to ignite some showers and storms here locally. As we showed you, 81, quiet out there for right now. In the forecast for today here in San Antonio, calls for increasing rain chances, especially by this afternoon. Clouds, and if we do get a little bit of rain, that should help to keep temperatures in check. So we're going with a high of 94. Coming up, we'll give you another look at that authority radar and get you set for the weekend too. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Let's look out there with TransGuide. This morning, not too bad overall is what Ernie was saying. And looking at I-37 at Houston, things are moving right now.
All right, it is a huge day for the future of a possible new Spurs arena. City staff and Spurs officials have agreed on a $1.3 billion plan, part of the bigger Project Marvel. And
this morning, the City Council will vote on a set of terms. However, we want to make it clear that the terms are not a legal contract. So Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones wants to wait until a new economic study is done and more community meetings can happen before moving forward.
So yesterday, business leaders showed up to support passing the terms right in front of City Hall. You might have seen it during this newscast. But then the mayor surprised everyone. She stepped into the crowd to push for a pause on the project. If you remember, we actually dipped into that conversation live during this show yesterday morning.
So we went out and spoke to a few people about how they feel about today's vote and also the new developments. So here's what they had to say.
I think they should start as soon as possible. Why wait? If they're going to do it, might as well do it right now. I've been to several cities where they have everything downtown. Dayton is one of them. Been to Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh had a lot of stuff in there. The stadium, the baseball stadium is right there, and everything's right close by. So yes, I'm for it.
I'm not in favor of it. The city leaders always want to grow the city bigger and bigger. I haven't seen it getting better and better. I've just seen bigger and crowded and
Well, the terms of the deal include capping the city and county's share of funding at $489 million and $311 million, with the Spurs covering at least $500 million plus any overages.
So the team would also pay rent on the arena and guarantee nearby development, which would help fund the city's share through visitor taxes and lease payments.
And of course, we're going to be following this story and give you any updates. We have team coverage over this vote today.
Yes, our RJ Marquez is there this morning at City Hall, and he's giving us a breakdown. RJ.
Well, I think we had technical difficulties there, but like we said before, we will have team coverage and we'll bring you any updates as we get them.
So essentially, and we talked to RJ in the last half hour on GMSA Plus, but essentially the 10 council members and the mayor will convene here shortly for those two votes. And ultimately, 6 votes are needed to pass either one or both of those. And so RJ, and I know Garrett Berger, our City Hall reporter, is there, and they're going to be covering all aspects. Garrett, kind of the city policies, city politics part of it, and then RJ will have the Spurs part of it. So we will hear from both of them throughout the morning and throughout the day here on all of the KSAT 12 platforms.
Well, a federal lawsuit challenging a new state law, a capital murder retrial, and a Rhodes Middle School student accused of trying to plan a mass attack in court. All that taking place in the courtrooms this week.
Erica Hernandez has been very busy keeping track of all of this, and she found enough time to join us here this morning. Sometimes I watch and I think, my gosh, how do you keep track of all these trials and everything?
It's a lot.
Yes, you've been busy. And
very busy this week.
Speaking of this week, let's start with the lawsuit against SB 10.
Yes.
So yesterday, a federal judge sided with the plaintiffs and prevented the 10 commandments for now from being posted in public schools. But, just wanted to say, I know that some schools were against it, but this is statewide.
This is not statewide. This is just for the school districts that are mentioned in the lawsuit, and which includes 4 area school districts like Lackland, Northeast, Northside, and Alamo Heights. So it technically just affects those school districts. But I do want to say that during the hearing last week, there was mention of that there's no real big provision in the lawsuit or in the SB 10 that would prevent other classrooms, or how it would prevent other classrooms from not displaying it. So there's still a lot of questions going on. Also, a thing that came up was funding, because there is no funding a part of SB 10. The schools would have to go out and find private donors to donate the posters of the 10 Commandments. So there's still so many questions, but this was kind of like the first step of many steps that are going to come, because the Attorney General's office said they would be appealing the judge's decision.
So that's ultimately what's coming next.
It's the appeal. And it was really interesting to read Judge Fred Beery's response to this. He kind of took it as, how would you explain to, especially an elementary student, how would you expect a teacher to explain if they went up, read it, and then asked, what is adultery? Wow. He was seeing it in the eyes of a child. So it was really interesting to read his opinion. It is on the website up now, so you can go see and read it, how he took, and the approach he took when writing his opinion on this lawsuit.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay.
Yes. And switching here locally, you've been in the Bexar County Courthouse, R.C. Curtis retrial there. Overall, how's it going? I know you mentioned yesterday you'd never seen somebody on murder trial falling asleep.
Yeah, that first day in the afternoon, multiple times we could see R.C. Curtis nodding off. I will say it is very cold in that courtroom, but somebody who's on trial for murder, this is the first for me to see somebody dozing off and just seem not very in the moment of what's going on. Yesterday was a really interesting day, because this is a 10-year-old case, so it has been plagued with evidence issues since it ended in a mistrial in 2021. To see more evidence issues be brought up yesterday, it's just baffling to me that the state at one point was trying to enter some bank documents that had other unofficial evidence tucked in. Mm-hmm. So it caused a big stir in the courtroom yesterday. So it was really, I still yet have seen the state present anything that ties that thing that just ties R.C. Curtis to this murder. So I'm really going to be paying attention to what else they're bringing to the table.
Okay, very good. And finally, if that's not enough, the Rhodes Middle School student who's gotten a lot of attention for being arrested back in May for allegedly planning a mass attack, he's expected to be back in juvenile court today. And we talked about Judge Cruz Shaw. We've seen him so much lately in some of these very emotional cases involving young people.
Yeah, it's almost sad that we have to keep showing up to juvenile courts for cases like this. This is one we've been following very closely since May, when this student was arrested. Since his last hearing, his mother was she's facing another charge in this case as well. So today is another detention hearing, which the judge holds them every 2 weeks to see how the juvenile is doing, if they're able to be let out or not. So he makes that decision every 2 weeks, and they talk to a lot of people involved in this case and in the care of the juvenile to make sure he makes that decision. So that's what's happening today. But we do anticipate in the coming weeks a hearing involving the case itself to finally occur. So a lot to watch, a lot to keep track of, but we will be there, and we will have all the updates on the courts page of KSAT.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Erica, for keeping us updated. And of course, if you want to head to see more on the court case, like you said, just go ahead and go onto our website. But also, you said R.C. Curtis will be a live stream of the trial.
Picks back up today at 1:30.
1:30 this afternoon.
Yes.
So if people want to watch that on our website as well.
That's correct.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, happening today, Governor Greg Abbott's going to be in Kerrville to announce funding for some long-term flood relief following the July 4th floods. He's going to be joining the leaders there from the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country, Hunt ISD, and other officials and community members for the announcement.
Now, the city of San Antonio is inviting residents to join a series of budget town hall meetings to learn about the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. This is a chance for residents to give feedback before this council votes on the budget on September 18th. Now, 2 meetings will be held, one at the Wheatley Heights Sports Complex and another at the Garza Community Center. Both start at 6:30 p.m. You can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen right there to get more information.
All right now the time is 9:08. We're 81 degrees, and coming up, you can see students at Texas A&M getting a nice surprise. We're going to explain why they won't have to travel far for some of their favorite Buc-ee snacks.
All right, plus the Menendez brothers have been behind bars for more than 30 years. Now Eric Menendez is facing the parole board this week with a chance to earn his freedom, and how that chance could still face some challenges. Coming up.
Hi, welcome back. Time is 9:12, and here's today's 9 at 9. So the Texas House passed a Republican-led redistricting bill that could give the GOP as many as 5 new U.S. House seats. The move follows a 2-week standoff when Democrats fled the state to block the measure. The bill now heads to the Senate.
Hurricane Erin is strengthening again and is creeping toward the mid-Atlantic coast and churning up waves that have closed beaches from the Carolinas to New York City. Authorities warn that its large swells will cut off roads on the Outer Banks and whip up rip currents from Florida to New England.
Well, Eric Menendez will appear before California's parole board today. The parole board will hear from family members, defense attorneys, and the DA's office. Even if parole is granted, it still has to go through an internal review board, and it has to be approved by Governor Gavin Newsom.
The FTC is suing LA Fitness for making it too hard for consumers to cancel their memberships. The FTC's complaint says LA Fitness uses complicated methods, going beyond requiring people to cancel in person or via mail, and therefore making it extremely difficult to cancel.
And pretty soon you can go from drive it like it's a rental to buying a rental on Amazon. Wow. Okay, so Hertz has struck a deal to sell its used cars through Amazon Autos. So pickup locations will initially be limited to a handful of cities. However, they plan to expand to 45 locations across the country.
Claire's has found a buyer after filing for bankruptcy for a second time. It will be selling most of its business in North America to a private equity firm. The fashion jewelry retailer said the sale is aimed at maximizing the value of the business. 18 Claire's stores in the U.S. will close no later than September 7th.
Well, after nearly half a century, the classic Cracker Barrel restaurant logo is getting a fresh new look. So since 1977, the country-themed chain's trademark featured an image of a man resting by a barrel. So that was until this week when Cracker Barrel unveiled a new design that is in name only with a modernized typeface.
As long as they keep the biscuits. Nobody won the Powerball jackpot yesterday, so the prize is now up to $700 million. If a winner takes it in a one-time payout, it drops down to a measly $316 million. Once Uncle Sam withholds his share, it falls to $240 million. The next drawing is scheduled for Saturday night.
Students at Texas A&M won't need to take that road trip to satisfy their Buc-ee's cravings, so students can now stock up on Buc-ee's favorites like beaver nuggets, jerky, snacks, and even Buc-ee's merch at 3 on-campus stores. So the deal makes Texas A&M the only spot outside Buc-ee's travel centers where fans can grab the chain's famous snacks. And very good news for all the A&M grads, like also Justin Horn over here.
Yes.
I was excited when they said
You too.
one Buc-ee store, and then they said 3.
Yeah. That's news too. And I mean, a shout out to my brother, who's also a Texas A&M grad. I'm sure he'll be happy with the news of Buc-ee's. And also, happy 50th birthday, Art. Yes, today's his birthday. So good news on your birthday.
Shout out. Yeah, really, you have to remember A&M's like a small city. It's
yes,
huge.
it is.
It's true.
So there's room for it. A lot of students, but pretty cool stuff.
Indeed.
Good news.
Yeah. All right, radar showing that we have some showers and storms out there this morning. And I think probably what jumps off the screen to you is that little green box here around Kerrville. Why is it there? Well, that is a flood warning. And there hasn't been rain directly over this area, but the rain is nearby. And obviously we know what happened just a month or so ago here around Hunt and Ingram. And I misspoke earlier. I said the West Fork. I meant the North Fork and the South Fork actually could be taking on some water here. Now, does that mean we're going to see a big river rise? No. This is out of an abundance of caution because there's still a lot of cleanup, obviously a lot of debris and things like that. But they have issued a flood warning this morning because of just the potential for some of that rain that could flow down and funnel into the Guadalupe River. So that is something we will watch very closely. We look at the rain right now, and again, it's just west of that, but we are seeing some pretty heavy rain. Let's look at some of the rainfall rates, and I think this is always good to look at because we can see just how heavy some of the rain is. So centered right around where you see the lightning, and that's generally always the heaviest part of the storm. We're talking about 5 inches per hour, so that could lead to some minor flooding, and some of the creeks could start to fill up a little bit, but we don't anticipate big time flooding, okay? I want to put your mind at ease here. We will certainly watch this, but I don't anticipate huge issues here. Now, obviously, that is the South Fork there of the Guadalupe River, and that heavy rain is falling right over that. So, yes, we do need to watch this, and we certainly will. And if anything changes, you'll be the first to know. But pretty heavy rain off to the west, and this is shifting a little bit now off to the east and southeast with that heavier core there in southern parts of Kirk County. Also seeing a pretty nice thunderstorm just north of Lakey. That's another area, I mean, that has gotten some heavy rain, and you're going to see a little bit more right along the Frio. Again, no flood warnings here, but definitely needs to be watched. And then the next question you probably have is, well, what about San Antonio? Are we going to see some rain here? There is some energy up to our north. We can see that, some light showers up here. But I think that as this energy sinks south a little bit later today, we kind of get some of this energy coming in from the west and then some of this sinking south. We should get some thunderstorms to develop. We have not seen any yet, but we look at the futurecast here, and it does want to break out some more activity. Now, these computer models have done just an awful job at depicting today's situation, so I wouldn't pay too close attention to exactly where it's developing stuff. And I even hesitated, honestly, to even show it because it has not been great. But I think it does get the idea across that we will get some more downpours, but it may take until this afternoon until we get some of the heating to get that going. And anywhere we see some of these heavier downpours, street flooding, minor street flooding, lightning, thunder, all of it will be possible. And I think rain chances will be highest here in San Antonio during the afternoon. We're going to put it at 60%. Let's go over some of the threats real quick. Again, we are not looking for severe weather, but 1 to 2 inches in spots could create some minor street flooding. And then we could also see some gusty winds with some of the stronger cells. Maybe some small hail too, but I think winds are going to be the main issue. And, you know, a couple days ago, we had some wind damage, places like Bandera and Timberwood Park in the Bulverde area. So we know these can put down some pretty good wind too, especially if it, you know, a downburst or anything like that. Outside right now, a few clouds, 81 degrees, 81 in New Braunfels, 82 Converse. So it is a warm morning. We'll be up around 94 this afternoon. So still warm, but not as bad as it has been. And as we head into your weekend, 40% chance of rain tomorrow, just a 20% chance Saturday, and much quieter conditions by Sunday. And we'll get into some pretty hot weather next week with some more rain chances by the middle part of next week.
All right, we'll take that 60% today.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Well, the time now is 9:20, and we're at 81 degrees for now.
Up next, Federal Reserve officials are concerned about the job market, and Delta and United Airlines are facing a lawsuit. We'll explain why in this morning's Money Matters.
I'm back. The time now is 9:24. So now to some sky-high lawsuits and how the Federal Reserve is feeling about the labor market.
Plus, pumpkin spice season is among us, and for some, it's already here. Maribel Aber gives us a look in today's Money Matters.
The Federal Reserve officials were concerned with the job market and inflation when they met last month. That's according to the minutes of the Fed's meeting, which were released yesterday. The majority of Fed officials at the time were in favor of not cutting interest rates just yet. The Fed is still trying to gauge how much tariffs could drive up costs for consumers and send inflation higher. But despite all that, many now believe the Fed will cut its key interest rate when it meets in September. Delta and United Airlines are being sued by passengers who claim they paid for window seats only to find themselves seated next to a blank wall of the plane. The lawsuits say planes used by the two airlines have seats that would normally offer windows, but due to the placement of air conditioning ducts, electrical conduits, or other components, those seats end up being windowless on some planes. Both lawsuits are proposed class actions. They're seeking millions of dollars of damages for more than 1 million passengers at each carrier. A woman in the lawsuit filed against United said the airline refunded her the fees for windowless seats on 2 flights, but not on a third one where there was also no window. Okay, let's get to the story. Pumpkin spice season. It's already underway. Dunkin' launched some of its fall offerings yesterday, including the pumpkin spice latte and an almond spice coffee. And Starbucks rolls out its fall menu next Tuesday, August 26th. That will see the return of Starbucks pumpkin spice latte, along with a pumpkin cream cold brew and the pumpkin crunch oatmeal latte. Krispy Kreme already been selling pumpkins themed products like its pumpkin spice cake donut and pumpkin spice coffee.
I'll take it all.
Stephanie would like
Yes.
poquito de todo. One
Yes.
just
One from Starbucks. one
Dunkin',
from
Krispy
Dunkin'.
Kreme.
Yeah, sure.
That's fantastic. The more the merrier.
Absolutely.
Very good. All right, 9:26 right now, 81 degrees. Still more ahead in the next half hour of GMSA at 9.
Right, still ahead, families can participate in a town hall meeting and find out more about these new education savings accounts or school vouchers, what you need to know before you attend.
Please pass SB 1 so no parent sends their child to camp believing they are safe only to face this nightmare. Obvious common sense safety measures were absent. Protocols that should have been in place were ignored. As a result, my daughter was stolen from us.
Now, you just heard from the mother of a Camp Mystic camper. The parents spent hours testifying before Texas lawmakers yesterday about last month's deadly flood. And parents shared memories of their daughters and said that they wish that Camp Mystic had a better safety plan. If passed, Senate Bill 1 would require camps in flood-prone areas to have evacuation plans for emergencies like flash floods. Camps must be listed online with a valid license and cannot have cabins in a floodplain in order to renew or get a new license. They would also need operating radios with real-time weather alerts from professional services.
Well, Kerrville leaders are moving ahead with their budget and are looking to raise the property tax rate after the Hill Country floods. Now, the City Council agreed to start public hearings on a proposed rate increase just over 2% higher than it is now. And that increase isn't a done deal yet, but this change lets them go that high to help pay for flood recovery. And it could drop after public comment. So at first, leaders were worried about raising taxes, but the budget office said recovery costs could hit the city's budget hard. So the city manager said a higher rate would help build a fund to handle future disasters. Public hearings start September 9th, while a final vote will be September 23rd. Well, now to a KSAT Investigates update. The owner of a Northeast Side animal boarding business made his first court appearance this week after being charged with 2 felony assault cases.
Corey Jones was indicted for injury to a child and family assault. A protective order was signed during his court appearance on Tuesday. So earlier this week, Animal Care Services suspended his business permit after investigating allegations that he performed artificial insemination on dogs without a license. Despite his arrest, the city of Windcrest kept paying Jones to board stray cats and dogs for nearly a year.
Well, Jones faces charges after police responded to 2 separate violent incidents, one involving a teenage boy who said Jones attacked him, and another where Jones's wife reported that he choked her. Now, Jones denies the charges, and his attorney has not commented on the cases.
All right, this morning we're hearing from the woman taken out of a local school board meeting this week in handcuffs.
Maribel Gardea has been charged with criminal trespass, resisting arrest, and disrupting a meeting that happened on Tuesday night. So she is the executive director of Mind Shift Ed, which is a nonprofit dedicated to helping families advocate for their kids' education. So during public comment at an Edgewood ISD board meeting that happened on Tuesday night, Gardea signed up to speak on a presentation about student safety.
Now, she was given 4 minutes to speak in total, but ended up going over the time because of confusion with the timing. When her microphone was cut, Edgewood ISD police approached her and escorted her out.
Now, the video we do have from someone there shows that her in handcuffs being walked to a police car, and Telemundo spoke to her as she left the Bexar County Jail yesterday. Her nonprofit is now demanding action.
I wanted parents to feel comfortable to voice their opinions, and then this happens.
We want the charges to be dropped on Maribel.
Now, not every bystander at the board meeting agreed on Tuesday night, including this gentleman.
She refused to leave, and that's when she became arrested.
So in an emailed statement sent to KSAT on Tuesday night, Superintendent Dr. Eduardo Hernandez says Gardea's actions were, quote, not in alignment with the board's procedures and requiring her removal. So the Bexar County District Attorney's Office says the 3 charges still stand as of Wednesday night. Well, Pearsall Intermediate teacher's assistant is out of a job this morning. The school district says she got busted for sending inappropriate text messages to a student. So Pearsall police say Alessandra Barreas has been under investigation since last week. Now, as of this morning, she faces no charges. Investigators have sent the phones involved to the Secret Service to extract more information. Now, even though no charges have been filed, school officials decided to terminate Barreas' employment after speaking with her and the student involved.
Just kids, you know, she clearly took, I guess, advantage of them, and, you know, I think it's just crazy because how can you do that in a school?
Knowing that it happened at your child's school, how does that make you feel?
Definitely unsafe and, you know, unsettling knowing that, you know, anybody can just do that in the school.
Well, the district is urging any students and parents with information to reach out to the Pearsall Police Department.
Well, just days before the start of the new school year, a San Antonio charter school closed its doors, and former summer school teachers at Bexar County Academy say they still have not been paid, and they're actually not sure if they ever will. 8 summer school teachers from Bexar County Academy say their final paychecks are now more than a month late. The school voluntarily surrendered its charter to the Texas Education Agency on July 31st. The school's board of directors did not announce that decision until days before the supposed start of the school year.
I literally had to ask for a handout and say, hey, can you help me with my electric bill? Because I can't pay it.
I had to go get assistance for everything. I was even facing eviction.
My parents that have been helping me. And without them, I don't know if I would have been able to make it.
So the TEA originally stated that they do withhold certain funds when closing a charter as part of an audit, but they do not withhold payroll.
Well, happening later today, families looking to find out more about the new education savings accounts or school vouchers can attend a town hall meeting put on by a nonprofit. So the new law goes into effect in September. However, the money will not be beneficial to families until the 2026-2027 school year. So families who have children with disabilities and those with siblings are at the top of the list to be prioritized.
Well, then it's low-income families, middle class, and others. The School Discovery Network, a local nonprofit, is hoping to get families ready to register for the Education Savings Accounts program once it launches. When that will happen is still not clear. It will be up to the Texas Comptroller's Office to manage the registration and accounts. Experts say it might be before enrollment season, which is in January or February. And here's what families can do while they wait.
This is a great time to be doing research. Now, unfortunately, we don't know yet exactly which private schools will be accepting ESA money, but families can still start doing research. The more families can learn about which private schools might have a learning model that suits their kids, find out what's the tuition cost at that private school, how much of that would be covered by the ESA. Those are questions that they can start researching now.
Well, a school voucher town hall will be happening tonight from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and this is happening at Vineyard Christian School on Hebner Road. So the information will be available also in Spanish.
All right, look outside live cam on this Thursday morning, 9:37, and looking pretty good for the moment, dry at the moment, but maybe that'll change later on today, Justin.
It looks as though we will get a scattering of downpours again back in the forecast this afternoon, and there could be some spots that see some heavy rain. We've been watching that this morning, especially in the hill country. Let's get back to the authority radar. And that green box you see there around Kerrville, that is a flood advisory, and it was issued just to be especially sure that if we do get some rain there around the Hunt and Ingram area, that everything is safe. Look, we haven't seen that much rain really fall in that area. There's been some, but we'll keep a close eye on it. And if it causes any issues, we will certainly let you know. Meantime, some of the heavier rain has drifted further south into southern parts of Kerr County and now into parts of Bandera County, where we're going to see some pretty heavy rain around Lost Maples and Vanderpool. Lakey also seeing some heavy rain with some lightning strikes at this hour. This is all drifting off to the south and southeast, so parts of Medina County, Sabinal, Concan, all could eventually see some rain out of this. What about San Antonio? There's not much to our north now, but it does appear, though, that we will get some showers and storms that will develop as some energy works in from the north later today. Here's a look at the KSAT 12-hour forecast, and we expect rain chances to start to go up midday, and then by this afternoon, 60% chance of rain. High temperatures will be around 94, and then rain chances will slowly taper off tonight. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the drought monitor, which has just come in, and we'll see if there's been any improvement there in Medina County. That's coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Justin. Looking out there with our TransGuide cameras. Here's a shot at Loop 410 at Evers Road. Now, I was watching this earlier. So on the TxDOT website, there was a report of the crash earlier in this newscast, and this is Loop 410 at Evers Road eastbound. But slowly, I was watching this camera. It looks like maybe it's cleared now because slowly that truck was moving out of the way, and it looks like the lanes are going to be open soon. So that is good news for drivers on that side of town. Of course, I-35 at Martin, be careful with that construction that is now going on through downtown on the upper levels.
Very good. 9:40 right now. 81 degrees outside. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Well, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo announcing the first round of who will be performing next year. And this is going to drop at 10 a.m. We have a look back at past performers and take some of our best guesses for next year's artists. Welcome back. It's 9:43. So in the next 20 minutes or so, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, they're going to announce the first round of performers for next year.
They do it like in waves, right? So we're excited to see that. We do not know who it's going to be. We're going to have it on our website, KSAT.com, but we've got us thinking about past lineups, maybe people we've seen in concert before, who you'd like to see or who you think might be coming back or making their first appearance in San Antonio in 2026.
So yeah, we won't find out till 10 a.m., but let's see. I guess you might remember this year I guess we had Keith Urban.
Yeah.
In the past, we had Eli Young Band.
I saw Nelly. Well, he was here this past year. I saw him 2 years ago.
He's a repeat. I was not offender. Repeat performer. I'm sorry. Repeat performer. Offending the Texas Rodeo. No. He's performing, and he's been back a lot of times. A fan favorite, if you will.
So I was saying they usually have, some country artists, obviously, single artists, and then bands, and then they have a band from the 80s that come in. Like I've seen Toto before. I've seen Pat Benatar and Hart.
And the year before that, there was artists like Brad Paisley, Wyona Judd, and Chris Young.
Yes. Single performances is just a plus, though, of course, alongside all the activities and things you can do at the rodeo. So it'll be here before you know it in February.
Yeah, I don't know. So it got us to thinking about who we'd like to see
Eminem
perform. Yeah, that would be something, right?
Well, there's a difference between who we'd like to see and realistically who we think would be coming.
I was going to say Beyonce. That would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, just, Beyonce and her daughter Blue Ivy performing in San Antonio. That would be really cool.
So we're going to find, again, we don't know.
Yeah, these are just guesses. Beyonce is not coming.
But there will likely be an 80s band, or a classic rock band.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember who.
We get Van Halen back together.
Shenandoah or one of the. Yeah, well. Yeah.
Maybe.
Shenandoah. That's a throwback.
I just.
Benson Boone. Let's bring him back to San Antonio.
That would definitely make headlines.
Yeah.
You know who I'd like to see? Vince Gill. That'd be a good one.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe.
Yeah. Very good.
Sorry.
That's right. I like it. I like it. All good choices. All right, looking ahead to the weekend, grab your cowboy boots and your hat, because country music returns to the Rocket La Cantera. Spurs Sports and Entertainment is wrapping up its Tastes of Summer concert series. The Wilder Blue with the Matthew Ryan Band and Jefferson Clay will take the stage at 7 o'clock Saturday night. General admission is free, but there are VIP options available.
Well, speaking of some food here, the second annual Texas Eats Food Festival is set for September 20th at the Boeing Techport Center. And you can try food from top 20 restaurants from across Texas made by Michelin and James Beard award-winning chefs. So if you buy these tickets, you can scan the QR code on your screen to buy them. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. And I know a lot of people here are excited about this food festival. Yes. Last year was a success. And, you know, David Elder, he
knows how to do it right.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can finally eat like David Elder. Finally.
I wish I could cook like David Elder.
Well, that too. Okay. Very good. Oh, we have action in the Flamingo Pit area.
They have visitors.
Got a little aggressive.
Yeah, looks like it.
I wonder if they're sensing rain coming and maybe they get a little
antsy.
Hormones are racing.
True. 60% chance still.
I don't know. We'll see. This is a family show here.
All right. Flamingos are getting all riled up. All right. Let's take a look at the drought monitor. This just came in. And this is good news, actually. So if you remember, Medina County, as of last week, was completely covered in exceptional drought, the worst of the worst, that maroon color. It has been pared back. And look, I know we're still in extreme drought, so it's not 100% better, but we take baby steps here. And so there's some improvement. San Antonio is still in extreme drought. We have a chance for rain today, so maybe we can chip away at this a little bit more. And I've talked a little bit this week, too, about the fact that we have the haves and have-nots, right? So places like Kerrville, Ingram and Hunt, obviously Fredericksburg, have received way too much rain. They're completely out of drought. Same story for our far eastern counties, but there are some that still need quite a bit of rain. That includes Medina County and Bexar County and then out towards Del Rio. Del Rio's been getting rain this morning. So we're working on changing some of that, changing that map a little bit, hopefully by next Thursday. But we look at the authority radar right now. We still have quite a bit of rain falling here across the hill country. So Leakey up to just west of Kerrville, down to Medina, and this rain is not moving terribly fast. So while there's not a huge flood threat here, we do need to keep an eye on it with the rainfall rates picking up a little bit just here within the last hour. And I will say that storm right around Leakey, not severe, but certainly packing a punch. Let's do this. Let's take a look at, I'm going to pause this, and let's take a look at the rain rate there around Leakey, and I bet it's pretty impressive. We can sample that. And we're talking about 7 inches per hour. That's blinding rain. There is a good amount of moisture in the atmosphere. So while this may not cause widespread flooding, it will create, I think, some street flooding there in Leakey. So be extra careful. Still watch some of those low water crossings. I mean, look, that's the Frio River right there. Not saying the Frio River is going to flood, but, just be cognizant of this rain as it comes through. And if anything changes, obviously, we will let you know. And I think one other thing we should do here, I'm going to clear this out, is just take a look at the estimated rainfall totals so far. And we'll go to 12-inch rainfall. And we've seen some spots here where we're probably on the verge of 2-3 inches. So that's manageable. But if we get a lot of that coming down in a short amount of time, that can cause some street flooding. And we'll be watching the Guadalupe River here, the Medina River, and also the Frio River. And then we'll see if we can get some further development off to the east. Let me clear this off, where we are here in San Antonio. So far, we have not seen much. But there is still some energy to the north. And computer models continue to want to indicate that we could get scattering of showers this afternoon. It just may take until we get some daytime heating for this to kind of get stirred up. This is 5 o'clock, and it kind of flips the script here, quieter out west, and then more showers and storms off to the east. This is 7 p.m., still around the evening hours, still seeing some rain around. And do know this could affect the evening commute, could affect after-school activities. We saw that a couple days ago, so just be aware that there could be some slowdowns later today. 60% chance rain is what we're calling for. 94 will be your high, and then rain chances will fall off tonight. Very, very quickly, I want to touch on the fact that we have a couple of systems out here in the Atlantic. Aaron will go away this weekend, but still causing problems on the East Coast. This one likely curves up to the Atlantic. This one takes a little bit more of a southerly route, but the latest thinking here is that this is going to run into some atmosphere that's maybe not so conducive for development. So we may be okay there. There's Erin, by the way, as she moves up the East Coast. We'll keep an eye on all of that, but there's nothing other than Erin that's imminent in the tropics right now. 40% chance of rain tomorrow, 20% chance Saturday, drier by Sunday and Monday.
All right, thank you, Justin. We will be ready for that rain.
Yes.
I want to take you to City Hall right now. The City Council meeting is underway, and that is Peter J. Holt, who essentially runs the Spurs organizations. We're going to listen in.
Thank you for that. At a previous session, we had a meeting, and there was some concern about some of the ownership of CSL. And so I think the independent assessment of the numbers would be helpful to our community to say, to show that, we have gotten a level of analysis, economic rigor on par with what Philadelphia got, but done by an entity that did not have any ownership ties with the Spurs organization. Would you still? And again, I think this is in the interest of making sure we're successful in November. So in light of that, would there be any opposition from the Spurs organization to us seeking an independent economic assessment and affording us additional time to engage with our constituents, not only on the findings of that independent study, but also the draft term sheet?
I think there's ample information that exists today that shows incredible positive impact, which is why we're willing to invest billions of dollars in this project and commit to a community benefits agreement that has never been done in San Antonio and continue to pour time, energy, love, and money into this city that belongs to the Spurs and that the Spurs belong to it. And I think there's tremendous data that exists. I think there's also a tremendous opportunity that we have between now and the election to create an awareness campaign and go out and talk to our constituents and your constituents and leave it up to them to vote in November if they support this project, which we are very positive about.
So the clapping is unlike midnight mass. But yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm going to try just one more time. Just kind of yes or no, Mr. Holt. Is there an opposition to us seeking an independent economic study and allowing us additional time to engage with our constituents? Just yes or no, please.
I'm going to try one more time again. There's ample information that shows. This city deserves.
Order, please, order.
This city deserves an urban core that we are proud of, that is unifying, that's accessible, and that makes San Antonio world-class, continues San Antonio's progress to be a world-class destination, and we're willing to invest billions of dollars into that. Thank you.
Well, for another day, some high drama playing out live on this show there at City Hall.
I know, a little bit of back and forth if you're just joining us now. We had Peter Holt speak up, and then Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones asking him, do you think an economic study would be possible? And he's kind of telling her that the information is there.
Yeah, and you heard the applause and everything, so it's definitely. RJ Marquez is in the room. I believe Garrett Berger too, so we've got this covered right now. You can continue to watch us on the live stream and on the digital platforms throughout the day. We'll have much more, of course, at noon and throughout the day on the newscast. But again, high drama at City Hall today as it relates to Project.
Yeah, so we'll be watching it closely, but for now, we'll take a short break.
All right, let's take one last look at authority radar. Still seeing some pretty heavy downpours, nice little cluster of showers and storms across the hill country, just west of Kerrville. Seeing a pretty good storm there around Lakey. This is slowly drifting off to the south and southeast. So we'll keep an eye on that cluster and look for more showers and storms to develop this afternoon here around San Antonio. And as always, keep the app nearby.
Yeah.
We'll pop onto the app if we need to, or stream, or go on TV, and we'll let you know if anything pops up that you need to know about.
Yeah, we'll be watching closely because we're expecting those 60% chances, so more